Okay, people. So, yeah, we went back to 2020, for the old guard. This was directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood and written by Greg Rucka. Right, the film is produced by David Ellison, Mark Evans, Dana Goldberg, Don Granger, Beth Conno, Charlize Theron. It is and AJ Dix. It is executive produced by Greg Rucka and Stan Waldowski. It is co-produced by Toby Hefferman with line production from Kareem Abaduda and Jimmy Abunum is a production supervisor. Okay, so Volker Bertelman and Dustin O'Coloran handle the music. Barry Aykroyd and Tammy Riker are on cinematography. Turlin A. Shropshire edits the piece. Right, we have casting from Aisha Kohli, Lucy Bevan, and Salah Benchagra. Edward Gomez, Robert Lopez Gonzalez, and Paul Kirby are production design. Art direction, we have Ben Collins, Reese Ifan, Simon Maguire, Aziz Rafiq, and Tom Whitehead. Jilly Aziz is set decoration. Costumes are Mary E. Voigt. Okie dokie. Do we have... I don't see any stunt information, unfortunately. Because, yeah, I've got some good action pieces in the film. Right, okay, so let's look at our cast. Right, who was in this? So, we have got... Oh, right, I see. It's because I did that, didn't I? Okay. Okie dokie. Right, so, Andromosh of Scythia, aka Andy, is played by Charlize Theron. Right, her crew, we have Joe, played by Marwan Kenzari. Nikki is played by Luca Marinelli. And Nikki and Joe, they're partners as well as part of the team. There is Booker, played by Matthias Schoenaerts. Right, so that's our 4. Plus our new arrival, Niall Freeman, played by KiKi Layne. Right, there's Kwan, I think it is pronounced Kwan, played by Veronica Noog, otherwise known as Noog Van Van. We've got James Copley, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. There is Stephen Merrick, played by Harry Melling. And we've got Dr. Mita Kozak, played by Anamari Marinka. Keen is played by Joey Anash. Who else do we have? Dizzy is played by Natasha Karam. Jordan played by Meti Narrative or Meti Tuli. Lycon, another immortal, played by Michael Ward. Geeta, played by Shayla Nix. Sadiq, played by Majid Isadi. Andre, played by Andre Zayats. Celeste, played by Olivia Ross. Yeah, I'd say that's probably our main lot, right? The gist of the story. Led by a warrior named Andy, a covert group of tight-knit mercenaries with a mysterious inability to die have fought to protect the mortal world for centuries. But when the team is recruited to take an emergency mission and their extraordinary abilities are suddenly exposed, it's up to Andy and Nile, the newest soldier, to join the ranks to help the group eliminate the threat of those who seek to replicate and monetize their power by any means necessary. So, this came out in 2020, July 2020, day after my birthday even, right? And I enjoyed it, right? I remember really digging the film. I recommended it to a lot of people, It is actually, as well, based on a graphic novel, right? And I think there's 2 or 3 of them, which was created by Greg Rucka. He actually did the graphic novel as well as adapting it for the screen. So yeah, he wrote the graphic novel series, and it's illustrated by Leandro Fernández. So yeah, I liked it, but the way it ends speaks to a sequel. And then once I knew there's 3 graphic novels, I was like, well, obviously they're gonna make more, right? Because you'd heard it was popular. I mean, it was during the pandemic, right? So anything, people were just watching because you couldn't go out, you couldn't do anything. So it was just like, TV. So yeah, big numbers, but the sequel kind of stalled. And, then you heard they shot it. You're like, cool. But then, supposedly, there's issues, reshoots, all of this jazz. So, we were just like, But anyway, with this first one, because of the sequel, it was just like, all right, let's revisit. Let's check it out. So we watched it, and it's not bad. It's still okay. There were big plot issues I had, but the action is good. Like, Prince-Bythewood, she's a great director, so it looks good. The essential elements work here. We got, decent acting from our cast. And so, it opens up, right? And we got Andy and her team, right? They've been asked to go on this mission. But they're breaking rules, right? They're breaking some of their rules. Now, it's an urgent mission, but it's a trap, essentially. It's a trap. So we have all of this go down. And then we jump over to Afghanistan, and we've got Nile and her team looking for a criminal. They breach, and as they're taking this person down, Nile gets, stabbed in the neck. So we have that, right? And that's the genesis for us learning who Nile is, and then how she connects with the team. And that's fine, right? But you know, some of the things we're rewatching, it's like the well, with the mission the group get, and you've got Booker being like, I've researched it, it looks legit, and you're just like, how much time have you had to research this thing? Because it seems like it's an urgent mission, so there's not really any research, right? And then you've got Nile, who, as far as we can tell, she's a seasoned soldier. So to not even check the like this procedure, so it all seemed a bit like, wait, what? Get stabbed in it? Come on, man. You know. So these things were like, I think it was, during the pandemic, I was mad ill, so you were just watching things and not paying as much attention because it was just like, okay, something to do. Let's enjoy something. But on this second watch here, you notice these kind of little tidbits more, right? Which all seem a bit, we got this team getting together and Niall's hesitance to be a part of it, but it's just like, you see how your comrades treated you because of what happened, right? They understand, you shouldn't be there. This is odd. Something's weird. Something has gone down that they don't know. So she can't go back in the army, but it's just like, oh, I want to let, and it's kind of like, to do what though? You know what I mean? Like, I feel there could have been more on that whole thing, right? Of maybe not wanting to join a mercenary group, but being like, but where is my place in the world? I don't know what to do, where to go, that kind of thing would have been interesting. Andy's got this big kind of axe thing, and you feel there's probably some sort of significance there, but it's not really touched upon, which again could have been interesting. We do get this backstory of her and Lycan and Kwan, and then what happened to Kwan and all of that, which is just like, oi, terrible. But we have all of this, which is, interesting, right? But Andy being like, oh, I don't know what we're doing this for. It's kind of like when you then get to, there's a part towards the end which kind of sheds light on some things. And you're just like, I don't believe that she wouldn't know at least some of this stuff. You know what I mean? So that seems a bit odd. But then the justifications for certain people doing certain things is very paper thin, right? Because I think Nile points out to one person, you had all that information, so what are you doing? And then the other person, again, is just like, why? Right? And the answers that are given don't necessarily hold up. But you think to yourself, right? If these people have done such good work and they do good work and they're good people essentially and all of that, wouldn't a conversation be the opening gambit, right? Be like, listen, I think there's the opportunity to help and do something, and what do you think? Right? Just, I feel that would be enough, because the setup could happen at any time, essentially. So, yeah, like, for me watching this a second time, you do go, the setup is thin, man. That could be better. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, you had those, and also you, like, betrayal is always this odd thing. And within films and TV, like, the person betraying, And then suddenly when they're betrayed, they're like, wait, what? And it's kind of like, you can't seriously tell me you did not even think that they may fuck you. Right? How are we, you're not new to the world. And especially these people, not new to the world. So it's, that kind of thing is also, it's so odd. And, I feel there could be a legitimate way of telling it, right? Where someone betrays and then is surprised. But to try and act like they didn't even see it coming doesn't really hold true, Doesn't really hold true. But as I said, there's other elements here that do work and still make it a fun film. It's just, there are holes, right? There are these gaping holes, right? Gaping holes of where the film seems to not pay enough attention to its characters and their motivations and how they would interact and navigate the world, right? Yeah, just some of that is a bit iffy. You also have, and it's one of those pet peeves, right, of people being in the desert or just doing a load of grimy stuff, but not looking that disheveled, right? Looking pretty fresh and clean and all of that. Where you just be like, you're fighting in a desert, right? You're doing all of this shit. You're gonna be a bit messy. And there's that bit towards the end, and you just think I think most people understand there's mad video cameras in London, so I feel there were other ways to move away from a certain thing towards the end. But as I said, I think the action is decent and you are kind of curious about the story, how they came to pass, the things that happened. So, with all of that and then the way it ends, I think there's enough here for you to want to see a continuation, right? I feel there's enough for you to want to do that. So, the old guard. Didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first time, but still not bad. Not bad. There's still enough elements for it to pass the time. Right? So that's it, people. That's the take on The Old Guard.